We are watching the United States Senate, where a vote is now underway on this jobs and infrastructure plan. We were just speaking to the Commerce Secretary about it, so senators will have time here for this procedural vote. Mitch McConnell says he's on board, clearing the way for then a floor vote on the plan itself. We will keep an eye on that and update you when we have results. But right now we turn to another important topic, which is these new CDC guidelines, you might have heard, reigniting the debate over masks as well as vaccines and the interplay. A Republican lawmaker trying to shut down Congress now rather than wear a mask.
We can't come to the floor. I can't execute my constitutional duty unless I wear a mask. Or are they just going to go around poking people saying you must take a vaccine? Oh, but sorry, the vaccine doesn't work. You must wear a mask. This institution is a sham, and we should adjourn and shut this place down.
You can see he's angry. The top House Republican, Kevin McCarthy, also questioning science about mask wearing. Speaker Pelosi, as promised, you get to see her response.
The mask mandate, Speaker Pelosi, any response to the backlash? Leader McCarthy says it's against the science.
There it is. At the same time, though, there is ongoing policy debate about some of these questions and choices. Masks do work, but with the CDC bearing down now as the COVID virus gets worse with variants, there's a question about whether focusing on masks for the vaccinated is where effort should be put policy-wise when you still have millions of Americans who won't even get vaccinated.
CDC recommends fully vaccinated people wear masks in public indoor settings.
What has changed is the virus. The CDC hasn't changed, and the CDC hasn't really flip-flopped at all.
These masks are a layer of protection that will help us prevent spread at a time where we are seeing cases rise. The vaccines are still the linchpin of our effort to end this pandemic.
I don't think that we're going to get enough bang for our buck by telling vaccinated people they have to wear masks at all times to make it worth our while. This new guidance will have a negligible impact on that.
Meanwhile, it's not all one note either. There's a writer who is observing how some Republicans are trying to rebrand vaccine shots as a Trump vaccine. Whatever you want to call it, if it helps people get on board, people are trying all kinds of things. What do you do with a problem like this? What do you do with the speaker calling someone a moron? You turn to one of our favorite guests. So good we have him twice. RNC Chair Michael Steele. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man, I'm good. I'm good. You know, vaccinated and feeling fine.
Hey, I'll start with the easiest one. What does it mean when the speaker just calls him a moron?
Well, okay, so she said the loud part out, you know, the quiet part out loud. A lot of what people are thinking when they hear and see Kevin and others in the Republican leadership take the position they have on masks and the vaccine. Look, this is what is so galling about this. Everyone knows this is all politics. This is pure politics. This is beyond the social conscience and, you know, this sort of fake freedom charge that people are concerned about. They weren't concerned about that when they were told to wear their seatbelts. They weren't concerned about that when they were told to stop smoking or when they were told to, you know, take care of this or that other health crisis at the moment. You know, no one made that kind of equation. But this speaks to, and I think this is what the speaker is putting a finger on, the difference in what leadership makes in a crisis like this, the difference it can make for the entire country. If the leadership goes rogue, guess what? You can count on about a third of the people following them. And when that happens, you now find the CDC in this position, Ari, where they look like they're flip-flopping. They can't make up their mind. They don't know what they're saying. They don't know what they're doing because they're trying to find every measure they can to get the American people to do a basic thing here.
Yep.
And so now it's fallen on the vaccinated
well, let's get in
to protect themselves from
let's get into that part, Michael. Yeah, because people know you as a political whiz, but you were the second highest ranking official in Maryland as well, dealing with policy trade-offs. I'm curious what you think about this, because we all understand, I think, where the CDC is coming from. But I played both sides of the debate, as we often try to do here, so people make up their own minds. That there are policy experts who say that when the biggest problem is the unvaccinated, and that's the transmission, that trying to zigzag back to have vaccinated individuals also wear masks, sometimes inside, is just not the smartest policy proportionately. And there also, of course, was the policy idea that you want to incent getting vaccinated so you don't have to wear a mask. I did bring some Drake bars for this, and then we'll get your reaction, because he did famously say that he wanted to give house tours till it's back to world tours, play that mask off when they find the real cure. Now, he wrote that before the vaccine. Play the mask off, that's a reference to a separate Future song. Take the mask off when they find the real cure. Now they're saying put it back on. I give you the floor, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly the reality we find ourselves in. And for a lot of vaccinated people, they're like, well, wait a minute. I followed the rules. I did what you asked me to do. I follow your zigzag all over the place. And now we're back where you put the weight on my shoulders. And you know, the unvaccinated are basically beating their breasts and running around the country saying, we don't care, we're living free, and so forth. So the policy problem becomes one of what next step do you take to get those people who are rogue on this somewhat in line? How do you instill the level of fear in them? I don't think you do it with, and this is just my own view at the moment, I don't think you do it with this current iteration of the CDC guidelines telling vaccinated people that they've got to now put the mask back on when they have done everything they can to protect themselves, arguably, from those who aren't vaccinated. The question should be, how do we get those who are still rogue in this space to come around, to get that third or more who are out there, to whittle down on that number? That's the real policy conundrum at the moment.
Yep. I think that's well put. And if I may end this segment with a compliment, Mr. Steele, Chairman.
Yes.
This exchange, talking about the actual trade-offs and the policy, is an example for all. I hope more members of Congress look to how you just did it, because we can think through these things together and do it calmly and with respect. We've got more time left to manage this pandemic. Mr. Chairman, thank you twice.
Thank you, my friend. Good to be with you always, Ari.
Always appreciate it. We're watching the Senate vote here. They're tracking the numbers. We don't have the results yet, but everyone can see that. We're going to fit in a break.